Howdy, howdy, folks.
Hello.
Welcome. This is not technically 700 plus and counting down because we did that yesterday. Our schedule's been a little bit screwed up because just some personal stuff going on. And so I think we'll be back not next Sunday on a regular time with me, Michael and Lindy, but I think the following Sunday we'll be back at our regular time. However, that said, we are still, me and Michael are kind of holding down our time slot here on Sundays, just to let you guys know that we had the 700 plus episode yesterday. You can go back in the live, under the live tabs on all of our channels and watch that if you would like to see what went on for that. And then we're just here to chat with you guys, seeing it's out Sunday, and we know we like hanging out with you guys on Sunday. So
we do.
Here we are. What'd you do yesterday? We already had this conversation, but
not much between. But by the time we got off of here last night, it was already midnight, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried to unwind a little bit, and I didn't fall asleep till after like 2 a.m. and back up at like 6. So
I slept like a baby, and then I've been working on building gym equipment all day and got warm. And then hopped in the shower just before this. It's been a good day. Still on, let's see, this is day 4.5 of the 7-day fast, so that's going good. Quite enjoying
That's going good for you?
Yep, feeling really good.
That's good.
Let's see, Janet has got a question. When are you going to be in Wyoming? I am going to head out Thursday for Wyoming, and I'm going to be there through Sunday. So I get there Thursday night. I might actually leave really early in the morning Friday too, like 2 or 3 in the morning on Friday, and do it that way too. I haven't decided yet. But
how long the drive?
It's 5.5 hours. It's not it ain't a big deal. So I might leave real early in the morning on Friday or leave late on Thursday. I'm actually leaning toward leaving early on Friday because why not? One more night in my bed or so on and so forth. And then going through there going to be there till Sunday. Going to leave late Sunday sometime, get home real late Monday morning. Are you going to have a podcast about your exploits? Yes, I think I am going to try to do a few live streams. I am one terrible YouTuber that way, though. I'm really bad at it, but I am going to try to catch some of it. I don't, it's basically, it's called, what is it? The Meat Roundup Extravaganza or something, or no, Rendezvous. Meat Roundup Rendezvous. And so they're testing out a bunch of meat. I know Chafee and Dr. Chafee's going to be there. Dr. Kiltz is going to be there. Bella, Steak and Butter Gal, is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Real Life Carnivore is going to be there. Coach Emily and Coach Raymond are going to be there from SPG Gang. I'm trying to think if anybody else is going to be there. I know I'm missing some people. I'm definitely missing some people. But anyhow, it's going to be kind of fun. And I'm going to. I don't actually know what this is exactly. I don't know if there's any speaking engagements or.
It's a vegan conference.
That'd be a pretty boring brawl. But it's going to be a good time. Plus, Bella's getting married while we're down there. So going to Bella's wedding, and that's going to be fun. Hang out with those guys. And, yeah. And then, so whatever. I don't know what there's going to be to record just yet. But if there is something, I will be putting it out there. Good evening. I am not one of the judges for the meat. I mean, I'm very opinionated.
He'll be a taste tester.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to taste test it and give my 2 cents. But I know Chafee is an official judge for the meat. But and you can go back on and under my live tab, I did a podcast with Tyler McCann, I think is his name. He's the one that sets this whole thing up in Wyoming, and so. He was gracious enough to invite me to come out there, and the Steak and Butter Gang, all of us, and so it was very nice of him. And I'm more excited about when I was doing the podcast with him. I told him because they have all sorts of festivities and things, and like every restaurant's going to have a carnivore option for at least one carnivore item on their menu that's like real strict, real carnivore with no seed oils and none of that crap. And then they even have a bunch of food trucks and stuff that are coming, and all of those are going to have real strict, at least one real clean, strict carnivore option. So that's going to be fun. And then, but what I told him is, I said, you're missing the boat. So when I went through priming, I found out I have the ability to eat a lot of meat in a sitting if I want to. And I always wanted to do the old 96er. If you ever watched The Great Outdoors with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy, when they went and he had to eat the old 96er. So I told Tyler, I'm like, you are missing the boat. You should have a steak challenge, but instead of having, the ones that are in Texas and stuff, they make you eat like bread and salad and cornbread or something. I don't know, just a bunch of nonsense in addition to the meat. I'm like, let's just have a real carnivore steak challenge that would be fun, like the old 96er or even bigger. Who cares? But come up with like just a carnivore steak challenge, because I've been looking for one of those, because that would be fun. It'd be just kind of fun, funny to try. And so anyhow, he would love the idea, but he didn't think he had time to get it done this year, but he said maybe next year. And I told him I would definitely be the first one in line to give it a shot. So that'll be real fun. Oh, that was awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
There it is.
Yes, that's it. Right there. We got to take down the old 96er. We got to do that. That'd be awesome. That's funny. I think we can do it. No problem. I've been practicing for this my whole life. So put in the chat where you guys are, what you guys are doing today, what your weekend is, and what your, sorry, I was just reading something, where you guys are coming in from today and how your weekend went. Do you have any big plans for the upcoming week?
Or for Labor Day as well coming up.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Labor Day is coming up. You got any Labor Day carnivore plans, meetups, barbecues, special recipes, or anything? I'll tell you what I've been really digging is, the smoked picanha. That is quickly starting to be my very favorite meat right now. Doesn't beat smoked prime rib roast, but it's a very, very close second. And for the price, it's really good, because it's like about a third of the price, or less than half anyways, of the smoked prime rib, or the prime rib roast. So it's been fantastic. The Costco's got these like 7-pound, I think they're called sirloin cap roast is what they're actually called, but that's the picanha. Man, are those good. Nice fat cap on them, super, super delicious. And then you get that kind of distinct sirloin taste, which I'm starting to get a taste for. I mean, when you eat a lot of beef, you start to enjoy all the different flavors in the beef,
Right.
For sure. Oh, there's DC. Hey, DC. How are you tonight?
There it is.
But yeah, it's been quickly becoming my favorite meat to eat. And lately, I've been, as I said yesterday, I've been doing a 7-day eating window and a 7-day fast and alternating them. And man, I'm loving smoking big pieces of meat. And then because if I do that, I'll smoke up like 16 to 20 pounds of meat on a Sunday. And then I don't have to cook again for 2 weeks. I cook once every 2 weeks. And then after that, I just slice it up and I heat it up. And sometimes I'll just wrap it in tin foil and put it in the smoker and just let it heat up in there. Sometimes I'll put it in the air fryer in tin foil, let it heat up in there. Doesn't take long. And then it's just delicious every time.
And then you only got one mess to clean up. It's nice.
Yeah, one mess. Man, it's been super nice, super cheap, super easy. I've been quite enjoying that. Yeah, check out the, it's called the prime sirloin cap roast is what it is. It is tasty. Yep. Let's see. I don't know. I've had some things on my mind lately. I'm not going to say his name, but there's a guy on Facebook that had a YouTube channel that I was watching. And when I caught him, he was somewhere between 700 and 800 pounds. And I was watching him try to lose weight. And I was trying to contact him. I was trying to DM him. I was hitting him up on his Facebook posts and stuff. And couldn't get a hold of him. But the people that were in his chat were, I was trying to tell him, man, because he was trying to do it through calorie restriction and working out, He was working out hard. He's going up and down stairs. He's swinging sledgehammers at tires and all this stuff. But he had so much lymphedema, it was really hard. And then I was trying to get a hold of him, and it was kind of making me irritated because I was putting information for him in his comments, and people were attacking me for suggesting carnivore, And then I watched him because he was doing the calorie restrictive workout thing. His lymphedema got him in trouble because you can't when you have that big of like lymphedema, like I don't know what the word is, but like tumors or whatever hanging off of you.
What I call them, yeah.
And you go work out, it rips the skin, it causes rubbing, and then it causes cellulitis. And he got cellulitis, and then he was in the hospital for 4 months. Yeah, he just passed away like a couple weeks ago or less. And I was thinking about how annoying that was. How ridiculous that is, because he shouldn't have been doing calorie restrictive diet and exercise anyhow at that size. And everybody that was sitting there chewing me out for telling him to eat carnivore that has never been his size or never done anything, they didn't know, but they were just repeating this stupidity, and it got in his head, and ultimately going down that well-beaten path killed him, and he could have stood a real chance. He's a pretty young guy, he could have stood a real chance. He's about my age. He could have stood a real chance at coming back, but he died from cellulitis and infection from trying to work out when way before he should have been, So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. This stuff really does. I don't know. I've just been thinking about that a lot today because it's like all these people that come in here and tell me, I'm a nurse and what you're saying is misinformation and you're going to hurt people. I see people getting hurt, and it's not carnivore that's doing it. And it's not YouTube influencers that are trying to save their own life and sharing their information that's doing it. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. Yeah, man, it works really good. I slice it up, I wrap it in tin foil, I put it in the fridge, and I just take it out and air fry it, smoke it again. Man, it's so easy, and I'm quite enjoying it right now. There's just no fuss, no muss. It's crazy. At Fugo de Chow, and was overwhelmed. How are you cooking your sirloin cow? So I've been smoking it. So I smoke it. I have probes, and so I do find, for whatever reason, most red meat I like cooked to about 123 to 125 degrees because I like it fairly rare. However, the sirloin cap roast, I really do like it closer to 130 degrees. I don't know why, but I like it a little bit more cooked. So I cook it to 130 degrees in the smoker, and I just smoke it at 225 degrees. It takes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get it to 130 degrees. And then I just pull it out. I let it rest for about an hour. I pull it out, I wrap it, let it rest for about an hour, and then I slice it up, and it's delicious. Hey, Charlie, I appreciate it. Say hi to Marilyn.
There it is. Hey, Charlie.
Hope it's great, Marilyn and Charlie, to give you a thumbs up and learn lots of things. Charlie, you might want to take what you learn here with a grain of salt, but definitely would love to help any way we can. But yeah, definitely discerning ears. That's so sad. Look how you help Bill in reaching out. Yeah, I mean, some people hear the message and some people don't. I can't blame anybody. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying it's sad, and I get really tired of this this pushback that's so indoctrinated with with the mainstream dogma that it's really, I mean, it really, you can, I don't know, that was just a direct line where I really seen it directly in a short period of time, just like 6 months actually cause, who knows if we could have turned it around for him, but I do know for sure that the diet culture and you got to work out and you got to be hard on yourself and you got to go kill it and all this stuff. And I mean, I say that as a person that's working out right now, but I'm working out because I healed through carnivore, not because carnivore healed, or not because working out healed me. Like, this is a benefit of carnivore. This is not this is not the cause of me losing weight. This is just, I'm finally feeling so good from carnivore and the proper human diet that I now have strength and I don't want to waste it. I feel like I've been blessed to have strength and energy and health back. And so I want to use it, efficiently and way better now, because it is a blessing and a tool. So I'm using it right, but that's not how I got here. I had to heal first. And this guy believed the nonsense that he needed to stay malnourished, not eat, and then go work out. And all that skin, it just caused infections. Crazy, crazy thing. And so I just see this direct line of cause and effect there, and it's really quite frustrating. It's frustrating watching people be hurt doing what they think is right thing. I know. And it's so hard. And what was even annoying was that I was trying to reach out to him, but he was almost what do you call it? Like peer pressured into not listening to me by his comments, because everybody had a pre-made up, mind or disposition about carnivore, because it's got, because so many stupid people are attacking it and they don't even know what's going on. And so all these people jumped on the bandwagon, and none of them knew what they were talking about. None of them have been there. I'm sure that they were, some of it was virtue signaling and some of it was they actually thought they're helping, but it was just all surface level nonsense, and nobody really knew what the heck they were talking about, and nobody, brought up anything good other than it was just this weird little mob mentality that jumped on me for telling him to eat more and eat carnivore, and to stop, not try to diet, but to try to eat the proper food and don't work out. And everybody just lost their minds,
That's the way it is, man. You know that.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. Infection is, and malnutrition is what caused it, and then to make matters worse, he was in the hospital, so they gave him, hospital salines and all that crap with the sugar in it and the glucose, and then
the food, and then
yeah, and then they bombed him with antibiotics.
Yeah, antibiotics just tears you apart, man. I know when I used to get it.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating. Yeah. But I don't know. Sure makes you want to scream from the rooftops to people. It's more frustrating watching people say, "I'm a nurse, etc. I'm a doctor. You're wrong." They have no freaking idea what. Yeah, exactly. What they're talking about.
They don't have all the answers.
No, and it's like the amount of ego that, not all of them, but the amount of ego that some of them has, that thinks because they went to indoctrination school for 4 years and read books and got told how to think and what to think, that they are somehow, the god of all information. It's like, whatever, I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, but, my dad always said, like, stuff like, if I was a little bit dumber, I could have been a doctor too, because that's, it's not the flex that they think it is, I mean, and that's not for all of them. There's some really good ones and really smart ones that really applied themselves. But there's a lot of people that are just learning some surface level crap and going out there and just ruining, they are so indoctrinated that you can't talk to them. They can't use common sense or see the truth and meaning around them for cause and effect,
And they refuse to think outside the box.
Exactly. And I mean, this argument, if it was working, just look outside. Look at all the sickness and disease and inflammation and metabolic disease and cancer and fat people all over that are suffering. And you don't have to, I mean, and on epidemic levels, and people are like, oh no, this is
And
the gospel.
just look at all the numbers that have increased the past couple of years from listening to the doctors.
Exactly. Exactly. And then look who the doctors get paid from, how they get paid, where all their money comes from.
What kind of bonuses they get for getting people to do certain things, and
Right. And
you
why
find out
all
what kind of
why
system
all
it truly is.
right, and why are all these medications for life now? Why don't anybody ever get off of a medication?
Subscription, man. That's what they love.
Yeah, sous vide would work perfect. Sous vide would work really good. You could sous vide and then broil it. Like, so before I got a smoker, I would use my sous vide on prime rib roast. So I would take and sous vide the prime rib roast for about 8 to 12 hours. And then I would take the prime rib roast out and I would let them cool. I'd pat them dry. And then I would put like a little egg wash, like a little egg white wash on the outside. And I would use like whatever herbs that you wanted to put on it for a crust. And then I put it in the oven and I broil it for about 7 to 10 minutes to make a nice searing crust on it. Pull it out, let it rest, slice it, and it's beautiful. So that would work fantastically as well. What type of smoker do you use? So I have the Traeger Timberline XL smoker. It's the one that I am enjoying right now. Yeah, you can't help everyone. And that's just life, but that is frustrating to watch people just walk head on into traffic sometimes, you know? It's crazy. You guys excited to see Carrie's video? The short right before going to Bill's was great. Absolutely. I can't wait till you guys can see. We've seen both the trailer and the torch for the documentary now. The torch is pretty amazing. I'm really getting excited about the documentary. It's going to be fantastic. I'm so proud of those guys and everything that's been done. It's working. It's looking amazing. It's going to be fantastic. So, Todd, we know that if you say a horse is going to lay an egg, we need to go find a really big nest. Right? Exactly, Charlie. That's a great analogy. You know, seriously, isn't that ridiculous? Though, you know. It's just, I don't know. You know, that's the indoctrination. And man, I don't know. Maybe I'm fasting too much and it's getting to me, but I'm just watching all these comments and stuff come in and go, how are there so many people asleep right now that are still not seeing it? When you just got to look around. All these people that I had a short or something out about those GLP-1 inhibitors, you know, the Ozempic and all that stuff. And just stating the most very obvious thing that's out there, that it's, you know, it's a terrible short, you know, long-term side effects to a short-term cure, right? And you're going to pay for it, right? You're just trading, you know, you're just trading one problem for another. And this one's probably going to be worse because they have really no idea how bad this is going to be, and it's already pretty dang bad. And people are just losing their mind, and their argument is, well, you're better off not being fat and having a heart attack and then dealing with the consequences and side effects of the GLP-1 inhibitors later. Maybe, but that's also saying that there is no other answers and you can't do it, right? If there is something, you know, I'm watching that effect right now. I mean, Lindy went through it, right? And so she has the not the GLP-1s, but she went through Lap-Band. And that wasn't the answer, but now she has to deal with the consequences, even though she can have it reversed. It's got a bunch of scar tissue over it, so it's a dangerous surgery to get it taken out. It's also an expensive surgery, and it's just a surgery period getting cut on, which is not ever good. And now because of that, she can't really fast. She has just bad spells where she throws up a lot and can't eat because of that stupid thing. And then my sister had the same problem, and they loosened hers up, and now she's dealing with the same thing. She ate through it just like Lindy. It was not the answer. And so all that stuff's going on. And then my mom had gastric sleeve about 15 years ago, maybe even a little longer. And now I'm watching her waste away because she can't eat enough, and she's got, you know, Parkinson's and stuff. And I can't get enough food down her to make her maintain her weight. So, and it's not fat that she's losing, it's muscle and bone density and everything that makes you healthy. And I'm just watching her get shakier and weaker by the day, and I can't get the carnivore foods down her because she doesn't have a freaking stomach, right? So, and you know what? She never did get skinny. She lost some weight, but she never was healthy. It never made her healthy. This was just kicking that can down the road. And now I think that the gastric surgeries have kind of run long enough that everybody's seeing what's happening with them over the long 20-year term and seeing that it's not great. And so now there's a new miracle pill in town, and it's these GLP-1 inhibitors, these Ozempics and whatever. And I mean, what happened, I know that they don't know for sure what happened to your friend Michael, but
two things she took in the past couple of years. So
yeah, she passed away, right?
Yep. She lost weight, and she was doing great. Her numbers were all good. Her blood sugar dropped and all that, but then they found her on the floor. So something happened.
Who knows? It could be anything. Yep. It's inconclusive right now, but with everything we see coming and all these skyrocketing cases of gastroparesis and all, it's not good. I swear that they're just building in, that the pharmacy is building in lawsuits and payouts into their profit margin. They're just like, well, we're going to make, I don't know, however many trillions of dollars over the next 15 years doing this. And
we'll best they can.
Yeah. And we'll pay out
about it.
Yeah. We'll pay out a half a trillion, whatever.
Yeah. They're still making bank.
Yeah. And they're like, who cares? It's just the cost of business. Like it's almost, they get to just have a scapegoat and go, oh gosh, we're just trying to help. Same shit that happens all the time. It's crazy.
They just get us a little slap on the hand and that's it.
Right. You can't be starving yourself. And I'm saying that as a guy that is on a 7-day fast right now, and I'm not hungry, like when you prime and you get fat adapted and your metabolic system, you get it up.
Kicks in. Yep.
Right. You can do all sorts
of things.
It's amazing. It's incredible because I'm nourished. I went through 6.5 months of priming first, and I nourished my body first. My doctor was insisting I go to a plant-based diet. Yeah, right. I really don't think I'm going to go back ever. Yeah, like why? Why? I mean, these guys are just indoctrinated. That's literally all that's wrong with them. They went to school and they got brainwashed. And it's like, why, doctor? Do you have a crap ton of success cases of people that are on a plant-based diet? Are they just breaking down your door with, healing and, weight loss and, just life and, longevity and, just looking healthy and exuding health and vibrance, like, no, that never happens. Not on that crap. I had a nurse ask me how I had lost so much weight. I told her, and she said, I'm not giving up carbs.
That's how most people respond.
Yep. Right. That's also why a lot of the times they get, they get kind of ornery about it because you're messing with their drugs. You're messing with their addiction.
Same thing if you talk to an alcoholic or a drug user. When you start talking about them stopping, they
don't want to hear that.
Bite your hand. No, they don't want to hear that.
Hey, Karen. Appreciate you coming.
Hi, Karen.
Today, I was looking back at my doctor's annual checkup, and I saw that in 2022, they lied and reported that I was given a COVID vac. I have not taken or received any vax in 9 years. My doctor lied. That's crazy. I wonder if they did it just to get paid.
Probably.
That's crazy.
Or did they give you a shot and you didn't know what was in it?
Yeah, let's hope that's not the case. Everyone that I know that has gastro surgery has gained all the weight back and then some. Yeah, I don't know a single success story. People come in my chat and tell me that there are success stories, that they're a success story. But usually when they tell me that they're a success story, they're 2 years into it and they've lost half their weight. Well, my mom lost half her weight before she gained it back. My sister lost half her weight. Like, it works for a while. until your stomach heals and you learn how to eat around it, and you just end up drinking more calories, eating smaller, more frequent meals, and you eat around it because you're still, the root cause of this is
All
still
your
there.
cravings are still there. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not dealing with, you're not being nourished, and you're not dealing with the fact that we're drug addicts. How do you know when you're fat adapted? So, man, other than walking the walk and finding out for yourself, there's not a real great answer for this. But there are a few things. Like for me, I know that I'm fat adapted and I mean, I get more and more fat adapted every day. And there's things that you can do to help yourself get fat adapted. But ultimately, you have to stress the body. But before you can do that, you have to heal the body and you have to nourish the body. That's why priming should come first, in my opinion, and then fasting should come second. But you got to switch over that fuel. You'll start to be fat adapted just by getting rid of carbs because it has to be. But then you'll start getting rid of all the sugar, the carbs, the crap, so that your body's
processed
not running
foods, yep.
Yeah, seed oils, all that crap. 2, your body will have to start running off of fat, as fuel. And but I found out personally that it just took a long time for my body to get very efficiently fat adapt, basically. And that took a little while. But now I know, because I do a ton of fasting and I don't run out of energy, where before I was fat adapt, I would feel good when I was eating dietary fat, which meant I was fat adapt, but I wasn't very adapt to getting to stored fat. I wasn't mobilizing fat very well, because when I would fast, I would be 1, crazy hungry, but 2, I would get brain fog. I would lose my voice. I couldn't think, couldn't speak, didn't sleep well. Just all sorts of things were happening. I had
low energy too.
Super low energy. Just everything was in the toilet. Now I'm fasting a ton, just a ton. And I mean, this is gross, right? But this is how I really know that I'm fat adapted. I do 7-day fast twice a month. And on like day 6 and 7, I'll end up having to go poop. And it's just yellow fat, greasy fat that comes out, and it's got some sediment in it. And I know that was stored fat because it didn't come from any place else. So I didn't eat anything, but my body went and found some stored fat and it ate it. It processed it, and it had some toxic crap in it, and it kind of just did a toxic little dump, and it comes out. And I have a couple of those every 7-day fast, and I do 2 7-day fasts a month. Happens every time now, where it didn't used to do that. So that right there is proof positive that you're fat adapt when your body starts going to eat it, and that's all that you pass is that stored body fat. It's kind of crazy. A friend of mine is taking a GLP shot. She wants to start carnivore next week. She has side effects from the shots, sure. Should she stop the shots before trying carnivore? So I'm going to say we're not doctors, but I think absolutely she should wean off of it. But I can hear Dr. Phil speaking in my ears to talk to her doctor about that. But here, I heard Phil talk about this not too long ago on SBG, and he was saying that those have like if she stops now, I think it stays in her system for something like 6 weeks or something. And that's really bad because it screws up your stomach. So the beauty of carnivore is that you are getting nourished, and your body is taking the nourishment that you're giving it. It's putting it to work. It's healing your hormones. It's healing your body. If you're still under the effects of these GLP-1 inhibitors, that's paralyzing your gut microbiome, and you're not processing it. So you're not going to get all the benefit, or hardly any of the benefit out of carnivore if you're on a GLP-1 inhibitor, because your gut, we got to stop tearing up our gut microbiome. This is why the fake sugars, they can be a crutch, but they're not something you should do often because they screw up your gut microbiome. You can't be on those GLP-1 inhibitors because they screw up your gut microbiome. We have to, it's not enough just to put the food in that we need. We have to let our body heal so that our gut can actually put those nutrients to work and go and heal the body. And then we have to rebuild all these damaged, pathways in our body for our mitochondria, for fat adaptation, for digestion, for building blocks, for releasing stem cells and causing growth hormones. We have to heal all that, but it starts in the gut. And so we can't be doing things like seed oils, fake sugars and sweeteners, or coffee, a bunch of coffee and stuff, or all this nonsense. You can still have coffee. I'm not saying not to have coffee, but the especially when you're starting out, the more things you can do to help your stomach culture, the better, but it doesn't have to be perfect, but definitely I would get off of that if it was me. That's my opinion. I am not a doctor, which I think is actually a bonus. So hi, Todd, Michael. Dr. Tanya believes in micro-dosing Ozempic for body and not weight loss. Have you looked into this? No, I'm so against Ozempic and all the GLP-1 inhibitors. There's just, you can't talk me into it. I don't believe them. I do not believe these people. Yes, there's been some really amazing vaccines and drugs that were created, but not really in the last 20 years that I've seen. I don't see them really doing anything fantastic. And for everything that these drug companies are doing that might be a positive, they're doing a million things negative, in my opinion, to stop people from eating the right diet and having the real information that's going to heal them. So they make problems to fix, in my opinion. So I just don't trust them. And I've seen too much bad literature, and I've listened to Dr. Phil and Dr. Baker. I mean, there's a fantastic interview. I don't know if you can look it up, Michael, between Tucker Carlson and this guy on Ozempic. And I mean, it's a fantastic interview, and it has nothing to do with carnivore or anything. It was just a guy that used to work for the drug companies, and he's outing the drug companies on these GLP-1 inhibitors. And it is going to be one of the worst things that happens to people. I mean, we will look back at this and be like, oh my God, that was such a disgusting crime against humanity. I haven't had any shots. I'm sure I had to do with money. Yeah, I bet so, Susan. I bet so. Hey, Mama Cracker. I appreciate you. So that's what's in my store. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it really is. Like, where does it come from, right? Where does it come from? And I mean, it happens one or twice, and it's kind of anecdotal, but I'll tell you what, this is my 9th 7-day fast this year. And it's happened every time, pretty much like clockwork. And it always happens when I take my ketone reading and my ketones are the highest, knowing that it really tapped into some fat. It really started doing that dramatically when I started working in dry fast too. So I alternate 24-hour dry fast throughout my 7-day fast. And it's definitely where it's coming from.
I get it as well. Dry fast.
Absolutely.
Your body cleaning itself out.
And where's it coming from? Well, it's coming from that stored fat, those pounds that are coming off the scale when you're fasting, and when you're doing that, that's where it's coming. I know 5 people in my family that had gastric bypass and have gained all the weight back. Now my daughter wants another quick fix with a shot. Yeah. And it's just, time goes by quicker than we think, and here's the thing, because we all don't want to take this road of, in my mind, I listen to Jordan Peterson talk about this all the time, and I didn't know how right he is, but the more that I look back now and the more that I see things that are changing, I really do think this is true. Jordan Peterson says that you could pretty much have within some reason, pretty much anything that you want to have, outside of, some mystical things or being, the richest person in the world, but just normal life-changing things, all these habits, the stuff that affects 90% of your life and that you could change, you can pretty much change them and have any result that you want within reason within 5 years if you know what it is and you aim at it every day and you just stay consistent. He says you can pretty much do that within 5 years, and he keeps talking about that. And I keep looking back, and I sure seem like I'm on a 5-year trajectory from where I started to kind of, in my mind, is the end goal where I want to be. And I mean, I know it's going to go on from there, and there's going to be another goal. But the picture that I had in my mind 20 months ago, I now have a better timeline on, and I can see it coming to fruition basically in the next just a little over 3 years, which is kind of interesting. And I'm like, okay, so that seems to be a thing. And then I look back at other things and just other achievements I wasn't even clocking and how long they kind of took. And there does seem to be kind of a, if you work on something, it seems to come to fruition in 5 years. I think that I personally just believe that there's something in the laws of the universe that says that all things, that you're going to find a pattern to those type of things and timelines. And I think that when I look at bad things, they tend to happen kind of similar. And I guess all that I'm trying to say is before, when we were doing calorie restrictive diets and we were trying not to eat bad things and we weren't eating the proper things, we were always in a hurry. I was always in a hurry because I knew I couldn't do it long enough. So I needed everything to be super, I needed a magic pill. I needed it to be extreme because I could only hold on for a year, maybe. And for whatever reason, we lie in our head. We say, if we get all the weight off in a year, then I can just maintain. At least I could be back to square one, and then I could do things better. I could do things, whatever.
Doesn't work like that.
No. But what
it took us a long time to get this way, and then it's going to take us a long time to get back. Everybody wants a quick fix.
What I'm here to say, though, is I've now watched my sister and my mom take all the quick fixes that they could take. And that time went by 3 times over. That 5 years went by 3 times over. And it got worse and worse and worse, right? And that time goes by fast, and it goes by whether we're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. It goes by whether we're digging ourselves in a much deeper pit or if we're making ourselves exponentially healthier and better. And so the biggest lie about the magic pill, other than there isn't one, is that they're just lying to you to ease your mind, to kind of enable you to be comfortable with a bad decision, right? To be comfortable in your habit for a little bit longer until it takes over and then you give up, That's all those things are built to do. And they keep you a patient and a customer of these drug companies for forever, when the reality of it is it's not an easy pill to swallow. But, like Charlie says, if you find yourself in a deep hole, we should probably stop digging. That's what we got to finally do. We all have to, this is where I do blame myself. People tell me all the time that I talk about carnivore and the propaganda and the big food, big pharma. And that's just my way of not taking responsibility. I do take responsibility. Nobody got me here but me. Right. But the biggest thing that I did that got me here was believing in magic pills, was looking for the doctors to fix it for me. And I should have just knew earlier and said, why am I listening to these morons who I've never seen heal anybody? I've never seen anybody have a good result coming, long term, coming from this. So why would I listen to these people, And that's what I was lying to myself because I wanted to believe in a magic pill so that I could keep being a jerk and eating crappy food. Is basically what
right.
Yeah, for sure. So, we did that one. Thanks, Todd. Makes a lot of sense. You are welcome. I believe it was about money, among other things. Planned pandemic. Anyway, I just couldn't believe my doctor would ever do that. I can believe it because, it's plausible deniability, right? If you ever called them on it or whatever. Honestly, for you, I would be happy because then if anybody, because it marks the boxes without you actually have to take it. So that's cool. And maybe he did a kindness for you, and maybe he knew that they're pushing it, and he knew you were the kind of person that never take it, and he just wanted to mark a box that would maybe keep your, health care going or keep you from getting in trouble or something. I don't know. Who knows? But maybe it's also just for money. Surely could have been. But yeah, it's pretty dishonest, and it's pretty ridiculous that we've gotten into a system where, that's happening, and it's overlooked now like no big deal. It's pretty crazy. Tell anyone thinking of LGP drugs to look up Ozempic lawsuit with your search engine. Absolutely. I started watching that Tucker Carlson interview. I need to finish it. Yeah, it's really good. It's really
I
good.
posted the link.
Ozempic is apparently divided from the Gila monster venom. Yeah, I don't believe humans are Gila monsters. Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not Gila monster deficient for sure.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan. When people learn that the miracle jabs are the opposite of what they are telling us. Yeah, when will people learn? Yeah, absolutely. I know, it's freaking crazy. Yeah, the Greek word for sorcery is pharmakeia. I know.
Yep.
I know, exactly. I've always said since being diagnosed with diabetes that no one deserves diabetes more than me. Right? I like that. That's funny though, right? Because it's right. We did it to ourselves for sure. And we knew that it was wrong. But here's what I always come back to, and like whatever. I'm not into fat positivity or victim, like playing the victim. Like, who cares? What's done is done. We're all here. How we got here doesn't really matter anymore, other than it
How do
is
we get out of
important.
here?
It's how we get out of here, and it is the only thing I think we need to learn about how we got out of, or how we got to here, is to know that there were forces working against us and they were lying to us, right? There's things that are pushing. This isn't just, we're not just broken, I mean, sure, we're broken to a certain extent, but it's not all that. And I know that if I would have known about carnivore, and if the doctors wouldn't have said that fat makes you fat, cholesterol makes your heart bad, that meat gives you cancer, makes your, gives you heart disease, and all of these things, and I wouldn't, if I wouldn't have thought that and had that beat into my head and was able to add those things into my diet, I think things would have been different, especially when I was younger and doing crazy things like not eating for, 17 days at a time or 17 months at a time and losing all this weight. If I would have taken that when I was younger, I think if I would have saw something actually pay me back like the carnivore diet did, I think I would have stuck to it. I think I would have went on that trail earlier. But it is what it is. Everybody's waking up to it finally. But what I really, when it all changed, was when I stopped beating myself up because I believed the calorie restrictive nonsense. And I believed that it was all me and me being broken and weak and all these things. But when I finally started looking at it like Robert Lustig and Gary Taub talk about it, how 74% of the Earth's population is metabolically sick, obese, or overweight. And this is a pandemic across 8 billion people now. And the only way that you can affect that much change in people is if you change the environment and you work at it to do so. You start to realize this is an environmental change. This isn't, an individual instant thing that's happening to individuals that are individually broken. It's not. It's way past that. It's way, way past that. And then you start to look at it and why would anybody want to change our food environment for this to be the outcome? And when you actually look at it, it makes a whole lot of sense. It's a whole lot of money. It makes people very weak and controllable. It makes people dependent on the system, the government, and doctors. And this system that has all the money and that pulls all the strings in the background, they're the same people that believe in population control, and they believe in one world governments, and they believe in all this stuff. And so when you finally back up and bullcrap, is exposed, you go, oh, I had a part to play in this for sure, but I totally underestimated the depths of evil and
what they're willing to do.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why I'm just so fed up with it all and worked up with it all. And I get a little fired up on here because we're being attacked. And when I look back, no victim crap or whatever. But when I look back and I see all the people that have gotten real sick and died or committed suicide that in my life, it's too many people. It's too many years of quality of loss of life gone. And it was happening for power and control and for greed. And it was being orchestrated against us. And so now we got to see it that way. And we got to get pissed when we see people putting sugary cereal on the top of the food pyramid and marketing it to all the kids so that they can be their next
subscribers.
Yeah, their next subscribers for all the medication in a life of sickness and disease, mental illness, and doctor's visits. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that's why we have to stop going, I say it all the time, but we have to stop thinking of, oh, are you going to have some cake for your birthday? You deserve it. It's a treat. And it's like, no, I'm not going to pay the enemy to poison me today because it's my birthday. I'm not going to be doing that today. The truth, the thing that got you here can't be the thing that you go back to if you want your life and body and mind to be better and stay better. Absolutely. And you can't go back. Once you know it, you can't unring that bell. Once you see it and you know what's working against you, like,
and once you pull back the curtain and you see the truth, how do you go back to that? Can't.
Yeah, can't.
It's like that with everything.
Yep. I'm glad others are talking about Tucker interview. I'm trying to spread the word every live I catch. That's awesome. Yeah, I love Tucker, and I don't give a crap who cares about it. Like, people, they're crazy. They're all in Chicago this week, laughing out loud. Did you know that the DNC put up a wall around the convention? And you have to show your ID to get in? How ironic. Just saying, right? Yeah, they put up a wall and you need ID and you probably need to be a citizen. Wouldn't that be crazy?
I would have done it.
That's pretty funny. Ironic is a word. That is.
It's going on 10 miles north of me.
Yeah. We were all wrong at some point, but when we learned, we altered course. Some don't seem to be able to learn. Is there a fault? Just our nature to follow someone we consider a leader. Absolutely, for sure. I don't know. And I'm guilty of this for sure, but I don't know. We have to listen more, be more sure before we just regurgitate the mainstream propaganda. And that's what, that deafening repeat of people is what I keep seeing. And it's just like, I know you're saying that because it's been programmed into you, but do you really believe it? Have you looked into it? Does it make sense if you break it down and really think about it? Has it done you any good? Has it done what it said it was going to do for you? It's kind of crazy. Yeah, very good point. Todd, do you have a favorite video to send to a beginner in fasting? So the quick answer, to be honest with you, is no, I don't. The second best choice, in my opinion, would be to check out Jason Fung's stuff. But honestly, and I say this all the time, and I don't get paid for saying this, I think the best thing that you can do for fasting, because I think before you fast, you should prime. And I think there's so many nuances for everybody, and there's so many things to look out for when you're trying to learn how to fast and you're building your fasting muscles, that there's a lot of pitfalls. And I'm talking from experience. I did OMADs, 1 meal a day fasting for the first 9 months, and I tanked my metabolism, and I was pretty sick from it. Also, just before that, I'd tried to do a 40-day fast before I was even carnivore, made it to 21 days, and I lost so much potassium because I wasn't taking supplements that I actually hurt my blood plasma and dropped my red blood cells dangerously low. So I think that you need to be in a good community that can walk with you and you can have support along the way so that you can know the pitfalls to look out for, the things that you should be looking out for. because even with all that help, it's still hard to recognize some things, and you still have to go through it on your own, and you kind of have to learn. But it's really good to be able to bounce it off of people on the daily as you're going through it. But anyhow, so long story short, I would say you should join the Steak and Butter Gang. They have a priming protocol calendars. It's usually 3 to 4 months, and then they have a fasting protocol calendars that goes 3 to 4 months, and you kind of cycle through them, and it'll teach you both, but it'll teach you how to fast from a nourished foundation, which is what I didn't do right the first times, which is why it all went wrong. I did it right this second time. I had to prime for actually 6.5 months because I caused myself to be so malnourished from many years of crash dieting and all this stuff. And so it took me 6.5 months to build back up my metabolism. Long story short, which is why, in my opinion, the calorie in, calorie deficit nonsense is stupid, is because I fasted so much and was under eating that my metabolism dropped really bad, and I had to heal my body and eat to get my metabolism raised up. And then you can fast from a primed, nourished point. And Steak and Butter Gang is second to none at showing you how to do that, in my opinion. So it's like $30 a month. I get nothing for saying that. I am an admin there, but I don't get paid to be there at all. I just really believe in it. I think it's a great help to anybody starting out. I think it's the best support group for carnivores online, and I highly recommend that you try it out. If you do and you see me in there, say hi. I'd love to see you on, because they do like 5 to 8 Zoom calls a week, and so we all get on camera and we talk about this stuff. And there's an open chat that there's some really good coaches in there that can help you on the daily. We do a men's chat once a month. We do a women's chat once a month, and then there's also nightly fasting call or weekly fasting calls, priming calls, sugar addiction meetings,
NSVs.
NSVs, and also special guests like Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Chafee do calls and there and stuff. So it's really good. All right. I don't beat myself up because I don't know. After being diagnosed with diabetes, I took it up upon myself to do research and take responsibility. I'm no longer diabetic. Yeah, absolutely. But thank God that you did that. But isn't it crazy that, like, if you're diagnosed with diabetes, like, why are they not prescribing carnivore for every type 2 diabetic right now? Knowing that I don't know that I've heard of a single type 2 patient yet that hasn't cured their diabetes and gotten off of insulin in just like 6 months or less. Like, it's crazy. It's super crazy. Like, that's like one of the easiest things that I see getting healed all the time. It's amazing. I'm a nurse. I'm so disappointed in the medical community. Absolutely. Like, it's sad what's going on. And I know that's why, I'm not talking about the good doctors and the good nurses that, actually care and are actually looking at the big picture. I'm just talking about the ones that come in here and freak out with no grounds and no basis. And they defute the evidence that's standing right in front of them and is talking to them. They don't ask our opinions. They don't even try to, investigate and see if we're telling the truth, because they don't care. They already made up their mind before they started coming in the chat, Hey, John. Hey, fam. I've been missing you guys. Appreciate you, John. Everybody go check out Big Man Alaska. He's got an awesome channel, too.
He does.
900 plus followed a leader to their death in Jonestown. Whose fault? Yeah, right. Right. It's crazy. So crazy. Have you been, Michael? I've been wondering about you specifically lately.
I've been doing good. I just been dealing with some swelling in my legs, and that's been messing with me a little bit, especially with my weight up and down. But other than that, I've been doing good. Sticking to the plan.
Nice. You're very welcome. I think it's great. I wish I would have done it. I did the first 9 months of carnivore on my own, and I would be further along for sure if I would have had a good community. it's kind of funny, but I always thought that support groups and communities were sissy nonsense. Yoga, meditation, nonsense crap. And so I didn't believe in any of it. And then I joined one. I was like, oh, I've been an idiot this whole time. Talk about like making up your mind before you even look into something. That's what I did there for sure for a long time. And yeah, I mean, of course it's going to work better. I mean, how stupid, communities are hugely important to be in a community of people, like-minded people, going
all dealing with the same stuff that know exactly what you're dealing with.
Yeah, because it's just a giant think tank, and you're all sharing unbiased information. It doesn't mean that some of it can't be wrong or not relevant to you, but it's unbiased, meaning they're not trying to sell you something. They don't have a huge agenda. For the most part, some people have whatever personality quirks or whatever, but for the most part, it's just people all trying to get healthy on going down the same road, and you get to share information and you get to learn from it. And so you don't have to make every mistake yourself once or twice. You can learn from other people's. It works fantastic, Today is day 1 of my 90-day BBB challenge. Day 1, and I couldn't finish my food, which has never happened before. Yeah, and that makes sense. That's I don't know. I don't know what you mean exactly by that, but if it's palate fatigue or if it's meat aversion, which can happen on BBB&E, that kind of can make some sense. But also, if you were under eating on your way up to this, and your metabolism's a little bit slow, and now you start eating and you really start kicking in some leptin satiation, that's a whole nother thing that can happen too, and you might need to prime, in my opinion. But you'll have to see. You'll have to see if you're getting meat aversion or not. But that kind of happens. If you get meat aversion, the best thing to do is fast your way through it, because nothing fixes not wanting to eat meat like not eating. You'll want to eat that in a day or two, real fast. All right. At that level, Julie Ash, we are responsible to be leaders to some point, to some others, right? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. It's funny. Like, I get it, and I don't care anymore. Whatever ears are going to hear me are going to hear me. I'm probably not right about a fair amount of things, and maybe even a lot of things, but at least I'm not lying. I know that, it doesn't mean I'm not wrong, but I'm not lying. I believe what I'm saying. And I believe this is,
and you're proof of what you're saying too.
Right. And that's why I'm not lying, because this is my best, this is my best effort to put together what's happening right now, why it's working, and try to put it out there. And I think we have a responsibility to do that at some point. I was just thinking about it today, because it's like, I've been getting this stuff, and people are just this week. I had two new people yesterday. They're trying to start Carnivore that are in kind of a big rough spot. There's a guy in here last Tuesday that's, he's like 35 years old. He's over 700 pounds. But what's even crazier is he's been stuck in a bed since he was 24 for the last 11 years. I mean, that's insane, and that shouldn't be happening. I told you about the guy I was trying to help online that passed away a couple weeks ago, and I keep seeing that stuff. Think about my dad fighting health problems since he got out of the Marines when he was 38. He got out of the Marines a little bit earlier than that, but he started having health problems when he was 38. Heart attacks and diabetes and all sorts of stuff. And I think about my brother Ty that died way too young because of this stuff. And I think about my mom and all this stuff. And I just think about all the damage this is doing. And if we find out the truth and we don't speak up, like, what are we doing? If we know that we're being attacked and we are at war, and we don't fight back and let everybody know we're at war, then kind of what are we doing? And I'm just saying that, I see that I didn't want to start a YouTube channel this early. I wanted to wait until I'd lost all the weight because I knew the people were going to come at me and say, why would I listen to this fat guy tell me how to eat? You know? And so sure enough, that's where I'm at. I've gotten enough traction and I get enough views now that that's exactly what's going on. My feedback, 80% of the feedback is all, why would I listen to this guy? And I get that, but I think I see the importance in it now because those people are all going to say that, but in another year or 2 years or whatever, they're going to get to actually watch me go through all that and see the rest of the change, see that I make it to the finish line this time. Cause I have no doubt in my mind that it's just a matter of time now because, there's no addiction anymore. There's no eating disorder anymore. And there's no lack of health anymore. I'm nourished, And so I think we all have to speak up about it. And no matter what's coming, and just know where we're going and that we are creating a record for people, because it is kind of funny right now. I have a guy that helps me put out these shorts, and he's been putting out shorts from videos that I made all the way up to a year ago. And I was quite a bit heavier in those. And so I look worse, look heavier in those videos. And so it's really funny to hear people commenting on these new shorts that are clips from old videos of me when I was a lot heavier. And they're saying, you're never going to make it. You're going to have a heart attack. You're going to fall off any minute. There's no way this is sustainable. You can't do it. And in real time, I'm actually already another 100 plus pounds lighter and have done it for like another year from a lot of those videos. So it's actually pretty funny to see it. And so now I'm actually seeing,
All they got to do is see this.
Yeah.
If they don't see the differences that you've made from this to where you are today, Todd, these people are blind.
For sure. Well, and they're not looking. And so it's fun to be able to show them now. So this is, and I was just saying when you guys are thinking about whether or not to speak up or, even because you're not quite there yet, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to let them know that, hey, something good's happening. I have hope. There's things that are making a real difference. I don't know all the story yet, but good things are coming. And this seems to be working, and it's different from everything else that I did. And it's given me a lot of strength and a lot of hope back. That's all people need to see. And then they need to, it keeps me more accountable, like every day when people are messaging me and needing to start Carnivore, wanting help with depression and anxiety, all this stuff coming through, you just realize that, it's kind of like being married, right? You have somebody else to sacrifice for, and we're also, that's really good for us too, to have something bigger. Yeah.
I could bring up Lindy's picture.
Exactly. Amazing.
Okay?
Right?
If you can't see the difference from what Lindy was to what she is now, and what did she do to make that change, was changing what she ate and cutting out all the junk food. She had the gastric bypass, the sleeve, and it didn't work for her. It failed. So how else did she do it? Boom, right here.
100%. Yeah, it's so incredible. I mean, that's.
I don't know how much more proof people need to have to see the changes that people are making in their lives, and it's really not that hard.
Right? It's crazy. Well, yeah. I mean, the doing it and the eating part is actually the easiest part. The getting through all the dogma and the fear and the misconceptions is crazy. I feel like it's no sauce for the moment. I needed lots of, there you go. Holy cow. That's incredible too. I mean, you are so much smaller. You got to feel.
I don't even think this is at my heaviest.
Right?
So
that's incredible.
And that was back 2000. 2001.
That is nuts. I feel like no sauce for the moment. I added lots of salt and it helped, but meat aversion sounds viable and interesting. Yeah, that could be it for sure. And so, I mean, if you can, so first try changing it up, just try changing up a different meat or something, try, what I like to do, the first thing that I would do when I used to get meat aversion, because I would even get sick of steak and stuff, is I would go get ground beef And then I'd take that ground beef and I'd chop up bacon and I'd mix bacon and ground beef together, and then I'd air fry it or smoke it. And just that extra bacon fat in there just made the ground beef so much more palatable, you know? So did Todd tell any of his many stories?
Todd don't tell funny stories.
I'm working on it. Oh, and I was supposed to, well, people know my story, but I was supposed to tell some of my story tonight. This way we can all be on the same journey for sure. Absolutely. And help, you pull up the ones behind you and you get a hand from the ones in front of you. And that's the way it's supposed to work. We just keep this thing going. All three of you have helped me in my journey. Oh, that's awesome, Tim. I sure appreciate it.
And Tim, every time you come up here and you share your story and people are seeing the changes that you're making in your life, you're helping people.
For sure. I mean, it's
all of you. It's how it is. Everybody that comes up here and shares their story and says that they go to the doctor and the doctor says they're doing fantastic and they can't get over the changes and they're feeling so much better and they're not using their walkers anymore and they're off all their meds. Look at the changes that you're all making. People see that and people say, gee, this must really be working.
100%. And it's just like, and the more that there is and the stronger that we get, the more this isn't anecdotal. They can't just say, sweep that under the rug anymore. They can't just do that. They have to, they're going to try to spin it. They're going to try to, they're going to do.
It's not Ozempic that's doing it for us.
No, it's not.
It's not costing us $1,500 a month.
No, it's crazy.
Well, maybe you at first with all your steaks.
Well, trust me. First of all, that would have been cheap with the DoorDash orders I used to.
I compared to what your DoorDash used to be.
Yeah, I was saving money. Ooh, I had, I was a drug addict. Drugs ain't cheap. Laughing out loud, Todd. As long as we see your before picture, we can see you now. Your stuff. Yeah. I know your stuff. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Exactly, that photo speaks 1,000 words. You know what's crazy is I'm having trouble seeing tonight, and I think it's because the fasting has healed my eyes more. And I think, again, I just got these.
Your glasses are off. Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go get glasses again. This is crazy. My eyes are healing so fast, I keep having to get new prescriptions. I mean, what
amazing. Who would ever think that your eyes would heal?
Right. What a great thing to have a problem with, though. It's fantastic. Hey, Kendi.
There she is.
Thanks so much for hopping in. Yeah, Lindy and Michael's photos are fantastic as well. I mean, so crazy. I mean, we can't ignore it. These people try to dismiss it, but it's crazy. What do you guys think about Carnivore Ray adding fruit into his diet and honey? Have you guys considered that? I don't consider it. Like, I'm not gonna fault anybody for it. Like, it's everybody's own walk. And I think if it's a mistake, they're going to find out. I mean, ultimately, they're an unequal one, and they have to figure out their own spot. I think there's probably many, many reasons for it. I don't personally know who Carnivore Ray is, but
yeah, I don't know who he is either.
I think if he tries it and it works for him, then good.
As long as he doesn't start getting the cravings back, then yeah. Honey, I think, is great for you. Okay, it's natural. It's animal based. Will I ever have a cup of tea again? If I'm sick or something and I got a sore throat, I'm going to have a cup of tea with honey in it. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to go nuts.
Right.
And if I notice that I'm starting to get cravings from it, then then I know I got to stop it.
Yeah, I'm just a crackhead, so I don't do anything sweet at all. And I don't do any, this is where I'm at. I'm not discarding anything, but I'm highly suspicious of everything. And my diet's clean enough now that I just test everything. If I'm going to try something, add it into my diet, it's going to be like the purest form, the cleanest form of it, a single thing, and I'm going to try it and see if it hurts me or not, and see if there's any negative side effects, see if it, luckily, and basically, I don't know, it could even be doing things that I don't know, but basically my immediate thing is if I have something that's got oxalates in it, or that just doesn't agree with me, I will immediately start. First, I'll notice I get a little bit tiny phlegmy in my throat and a little bit of sinus phlegm in my nose. You know, I mean, just another thing that I haven't even really talked about, but I was thinking about the other day. I can breathe all the time. I never used to breathe through my nose.
I can breathe too, and I never could have. And I've been suffering with that since I was 14 years old.
Exactly.
And I could never breathe, and now my nose is clean all the time.
All the time.
Sure, when I wake up in the morning, I might have to blow my nose to get a little bit out of me, but other than that, I used to always breathe through my mouth all the time.
Right. And so
Amazing.
now it's so obvious, right? This is how we're supposed to breathe. This is how our sinuses and everything are supposed to be.
Yep.
That as soon as I have anything that's just a little off, I notice it first thing in my throat, my nose. I get congested. There's an inflammation response. There's an allergic reaction. My body goes, nope, that's not good for us. Black pepper's on that list. Anything in the onion family's on that list now, except for, oddly enough, I don't know why this is, but except for freeze-dried onion powder, for whatever reason. If it's organic freeze-dried white onion, I don't seem to notice it. Everything else, especially chives, send me nuclear on inflammation. Same with black pepper. White pepper doesn't seem to hurt me. Also, any kind of peppers with capsaicin in them seem to have a problem unless they're pickled. Because pickling and fermenting vegetables, which Asians seem to know this for forever, seems to get the oxalates out and you don't have an allergic response to them. So there are things that you can have, but all of those things that I mentioned, as far as I'm concerned, they are condiments. They are seasonings. They're just things that you can add to it sparingly and a little bit at a time to make it a little bit more palatable, to spice things up if you like it, just to make it more fun. But I don't think you should eat it in excess. And I don't think you should put it on every one. And also, so that you don't get bored with it, I still always take it away half the time. Even if I'm eating it and I allow myself to eat it, like I used to eat a lot of pickled jalapenos and vinegar and stuff, I don't need it as much anymore. I think whatever those were doing for me, I've healed up. But I still don't take them out of my diet. If I want them, I'll have them. But what I know is if I have pickled jalapenos every day, then I'll still get bored with them. So if I take them out of my diet half the time or more, I just use them as a treat, then I never get bored, right? It's always something. And honestly, I think the biggest reason that I haven't needed any pickled jalapenos or hot sauce or anything right now is because I'm fasting half the time.
Fasting all the time, right? So when you go back to eating again, you're happy. You're happy with what you're getting. You're thankful for it, right?
Exactly. I'm not picky. Where before, when I was introducing these things, the vinegar, plus I'm way more fat adapt, like I said, from the fasting. I was using the vinegar as a crutch to emulsify fat so that I could make more energy out of it. Since I've primed and now fasted, I don't need it as much. I still use it when I want, but I don't need it as much. And then the pickled jalapenos and things that I used to crave for flavor, I'm now with fasting. When I'm eating, I'm always hungry. So I don't even really need it. I'm not even salting my food right now, which for me is insane.
Right.
But the smoke.
Because you're smoking everything. Yeah, you got the flavor from that.
Yeah, so it's got good flavor. The meat naturally tastes salty. And this is funny because that's where Bella ended up at. And that's where Chafee is. After they ate meat for a long time, it started naturally tasting salty on its own. And I think personally for me, what happened was as I was dry fasting, my body became so fat adapt that it's, to get to the metabolic fluid stored in the fat, that I'm throughout the day, I'm living more off of metabolic fluid, and which is naturally already perfectly balanced with electrolytes, so I don't need the salt. So I'm just, so now I don't crave it as much. It's kind of crazy. Well, that was a miracle, different person. Absolutely. 100%. All right. Todd said yesterday that he's never had meat aversion after 7-day fasting. Correct. Not a once.
Me either.
Not a once. That's a perfect way to get rid of meat aversion for sure. I started carnivore for about 2 weeks and I have lost 9 pounds. I only have to lose about 30 pounds to go.
Awesome job.
But I started because I felt so sick all the time. Absolutely. Well, congratulations, first of all. And second of all, I would put healing in front of the weight loss. The weight loss
Right.
doesn't inherently have anything to do with how you feel. The weight will come on its own, but I would definitely put healing in front of there. And I don't know, I'm very excited for you because I know what's coming for you. And if you stick with it, man, you're going to be like, how is this possible to feel this good and to heal up this much? Like becomes your new favorite thing, you know?
Tim, get me in trouble all the time.
Yes, that guy. Thanks, Tim. I can't wait to meet you, Tim, so I can thank you in person for all this. I'm going to give you the worst bear hug of your life. Michael, those pictures are a little more effective when you have the side by side than now.
They are.
For sure. Everyone at work knows that I'm on a weight loss and get healthy journey. What gets me is one girl talks about how expensive it is to eat healthy. And she orders DoorDash every day for lunch. Right. I know. Like, no joke. It was stupid. I was spending $1,800+ a month on DoorDash when I was sick, feeding myself drugs. And that was like 1 month I was off the rails and I spent close to like $3,000 in a month on DoorDash because it was a drug. It was ridiculous. So yeah, it's ridiculously cheaper, especially when you start, yes, there was times that it was expensive when I was priming and eating 7 pounds of meat a day and had a real taste for ribeyes at the time. That was expensive, but and compared to what, right? I'm not spending $450 a month on prescriptions right now. I also don't spend, I don't know how much on sodas I was spending back then, but really about $15 a day on energy drinks and coffees that I was spending every day. I don't spend that anymore. And I don't buy desserts anymore. I don't pay for DoorDash and delivery fees and tips and all that crap.
Yep.
And then, there's just everything else. And then I don't go to the hospital. I mean, if I would have been eating like this and nourishing my body, I wouldn't have had to be paying off a $38,000 ICU bill. So how much meat can you buy for $38,000 or subsidize for $38,000 that I had to pay? How much time do we take off of work because we're sick? And I don't get sick anymore. I don't get colds and flus. One time since I've been carnivore in 20 months, I was going through an oxalate dumping session and I got COVID for like 3 days because my mom happened to have it, and that was it. And right after, I still made it to work and did all my stuff. But all the time that we miss at work, all the medicines we take, not even, over the counter and under the counter, prescriptions that we take, medicine that we take, the time we take off work and all these little things to feed all of our little drug habits, and you add all that up compared to where I am now, where I eat for about $400 a month now. And it was costing me religiously, with San Pellegrinos, which is kind of a splurge, at probably $500 a month, and whatever. And feeding my dog was like another $200 a month because I feed her carnivore and she eats more than I do sometimes. So, but whatever, because some of that was in the 1800. It cost me half of what it cost me before, less than half of what it cost me before, just in a side-by-side comparison to grocery bills. And then you go into all the other savings that come with it. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close. Proof is in the pictures and the health. We are taking back my journey has been slow with a stall and maintaining my weight loss a couple of years. I'm now losing again in the past year slowly. Yeah, and that's all that we got to do. The time's going to go by. And as long as we're not going backwards, right? And as long as we just keep taking steps forward, we're going to get there. We're all going to get there. This way of eating has reversed my diabetic issues with my eyes. That's incredible, Tim. Mine too. It's so awesome. Can you find cheap reader glasses that'll work while going through Changes? I don't know. Maybe I have astigmatism, so I don't think the reader glasses would work.
No.
Yeah, because I think if I took these off, the reader glasses would make the bad parts that I can't see out of worse and the good parts better. So I don't think it would work. But thanks for the idea. I appreciate it. Oh, me too. Are used to being on inhalers for asthma, and I don't need them anymore. I haven't used them for 2 or 3 years now. Yeah, absolutely. I used to be on Advair, steroid inhalers, gout medication, fluid pills, heart medication, blood pressure medication, nebulizer. Had a nebulizer with that steroid crap you put in the nebulizers.
I use one all the time too.
Yep. CPAP.
My inhalers.
Yep. All that crap. Had all those things, and I don't use any of them anymore. In fact, it was fun to get rid of the oxygen bottles when I was cleaning out the garage the other day, to get rid of the oxygen bottles, the oxygen concentrator, and what else did I get rid of? The oxygen bottle. Oh, and put the CPAP away finally. Like I was using it. I didn't even need it, but it was the rhythm. And I was just like, I'm just done with all this crap. It was so nice to get all the tubes and hoses and crap and just get it out of the house. I'm like, this is awesome. I don't need any of this junk anymore. It's gone. So I don't know, just it's freeing for sure. I have histamine issues still, but DAO helps clear my nose. That's awesome. I think that's antihistamine DAO. Pretty sure. What is DAO? Exactly. I think that was kind of my question, but I think that's an antihistamine. Yep, I can't eat black pepper. That was crazy when I figured it out. I know. It's like I just put pepper on literally everything. Pizza, everything. I
used to always do it too. Now I just use white.
Yep.
Or cayenne a little bit.
I use Etiquette brand reader glasses from Walmart and my prescription glasses for distance when driving at night. That's awesome. The fact that you know your body in that much detail is remarkable, Todd. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And, I was kind of thinking about this today because a friend of mine was talking to me about, Ozempic and stuff. And I just kind of went on a tirade and was like, please don't take that stuff. Like, you don't want to go down that path. And she said that too. She's like, how do you know all this literature all of a sudden? And I was like, you know why I know? Because we're being forced to know. Because we're being attacked. And right now we don't have a choice but to know. Like if we're going to really, really pay attention to making meaningful change and turn our lives around and get our health back, we have to be like detectives, and we have to be, in my opinion,
you got to do your own homework. Simple as that.
Do your homework. You got to not take anything for granted. You got to not just blindly trust anything. You got to do your own homework, your own research, and you have to understand where even some of the research is coming from and who paid for it. And then you got to get into communities of people that are unbiased and really figure out what's going on. And then you got to document it, and you really got to be super conscious and aware of what's happening and super honest. But all that for me started when I took out the guilt and the shame and all these things, because up until that point, the thing that was, I'm sure there's many things, but I didn't go to any of those extents because it all came to, which is why I think the calorie in, calorie out dogma exists. It just went to, it's me, I'm broken. The doctor said it's me. The doctor said it's because I eat too much, because I don't have self-control and willpower. So I need to have my stomach cut out and I need to go see a psychiatrist. That's what they told me. And I need to be on drugs because I am broken. So forever, I didn't see past that point until I started looking, because that wasn't working and their advice wasn't helping, because for a long time I trusted them. But then when you break through that thing and you stop looking at the wrong thing and you stop blaming yourself and you go, who cares about blame? Okay, whatever. I did it all. I'm a terrible person and I am broken, but this isn't working. So let's go find something. When you finally stop beating yourself up about all that stuff, you start realizing that we're being attacked and you start getting into it, then then that's when you start gathering all that information and things start to make sense. You can put together the puzzle pieces over time, and you're like, oh, this is actually what's going on. This is very, very real. And so I don't know, to know how everything's fit together for me in the last 20 months and the results that I've had, and then have nurses and people tell me that I'm trying to hurt people and kill people. I'm like, I just know that you're not, I know that you don't care as much for me and people with my problems as I do. You're not trying as hard as I am to fix this because you don't have any skin in this game. So I don't know, like, I don't trust them anymore. I just don't. Like, it's not the flex that they think it is when they say, I am a nurse. And it's like, well, great. I'm an electrician. Have a nice day. I don't really care. Right. I consider myself a carnivore, but I have a tiny bit of fermented foods with my meat. Yeah. And
I don't know what that.
Go for it. You know, where I would way rather you have some fermented food than Taco Bell or pizza or seed oils or sugar and all that crap.
Like candy or something like that. Yep.
Yeah. So who cares? You know, it's like, absolutely. Just, you got to figure out what, you just have to be honest with yourself every day. That's the thing that I'm having, that I'm still dragging with me a little bit, is my old addict brain, because I think anybody that was, that was a sugar addict or whatever can agree that, I don't know, I'll just repeat this, but this was like my merry-go-round that I was stuck on all the time. It would go something like, I'm going to start a diet. I'm going to start it on Saturday. Oh, no, wait, I can't start on Saturday because so-and-so's got a birthday party. So I'll start on Monday. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start on Monday.
You're looking for an excuse all the time.
Yeah, I got to go to the birthday party. And then the birthday party or whatever stupid thing would come up and be like, oh, you know what? We have that work breakfast in the morning, and I'm kind of having some cravings anyhow. I'm just going to take this next week, and I'm going to have like these top 20 favorite terrible foods, so it gets out of my system, because I got to get that all out of my system.
And then once that week is over,
yeah,
something else pops up to put you off again.
And it just keeps doing it, and it sounds, something's going on in your head, and you're making very logical, what seems like logical decisions at the time.
Well, I'm figuring this all. I got this all figured out. Yeah.
Right, to just keep doing this. But what you realize is that your dopamine addicted self is lying to itself, and you're just enabling yourself to keep doing all this stupid crap because you don't want to make the hard decisions. And it's also, I think that there's, if we really knew the truth, there's a point to it, because we also knew that the diet that we were about to go on wasn't going to work anyhow. We didn't believe in it. It wasn't going to work. And so we're just lying to ourselves. And it's really something I think we're doing. And we lie to ourselves a bunch just to get through the day, to get through the week, to say something's going to change, something's going to get better. Because if you don't, especially for me with the amount of like anxiety and depression that was always going on, you know, the only thing that kept me going most of the time was hope something was going to get better. You know, I'm going to figure it out. Something's going to get better. You can't stay like this forever. Something's got to break, you know?
And then after failing so many times, you get to the point where you really don't want to try no more, because you know you're just going to end up failing once again.
Right. And you don't want to tell anybody about it. This is literally
because that's the worst thing to do, is tell somebody that you're going on a diet, because then when you do fail, which you know you're going to eventually do, you have to tell them that you failed, and that hurts.
Right. It makes you feel like a loser. Nobody
like another failure.
Failure. And so all that stuff happens for years, right? Which also makes it really hard to have any kind of, which is probably why I never believed in communities and have communities accountability, because that makes it really hard. Which is why I love SBG too, because people are like, okay, so you failed, now get back up and let's go back at it. You know, that's, one of the things that a real group is trying to help people. And that's something that I just had to get old enough to understand was, I'm flawed. I'm broken. Of course I am. I'm human. All humans are flawed and broken. That comes with, the species, right? So we came flawed and broken. We got to get.
We all fall down.
We got to pray. We got to meditate. We got to know who we are and what our inheritance is, and then we got to put it together. But then we have to be quick to let it go and just keep going on, right? And so, anyhow, I think that's all kind of funny, in the big picture. But now I look back at all the things I was beating myself up of coming back full circle because we all did this. I'm having trouble right now because I kind of brought this up when I quit chewing. I had made a plan I had 3 cans of Copenhagen left, and I made my plan to chew those 3 cans of Copenhagen and then not chew again anymore, quit chewing. But when I finished those 3 cans of Copenhagen, I was going through a big priming change. I had end of the month billing at work to do, and I was going through something else that was pretty stressful. And I said, this isn't a good time to quit chewing right now. I need to get through the end of the month. I should go get like 2 more cans of Copenhagen and get to the 26th because all my billing has to be done by the 25th. Get to the 26th and then quit. And I told myself that. And I'm like, okay, that's the plan. I just kind of did it off the cuff while I was busy. And I said, okay, that's the plan. That's what I'm going to do. And then the rest of that day was just a monkey on my back. It was bugging me. It was in my head. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And I actually had to stop at lunchtime and think about why this was bugging me so much. What I realized why it was bugging me was because I had, for my whole life, anytime I did that where I made a plan and then didn't complete it, I knew that was me lying to myself to not do another hard thing, right? To not have to quit something that was addictive or whatever. And so it was bugging me, but this time I knew for sure that I meant it. But my brain was having a freak out because it didn't think that I did. And I was like, oh, this is so weird. What's happening, I think, is that my new brain and my new hormones and my new balanced self still remembers not being able to trust my old food addict self or whatever, lying to myself and making excuses for myself. And I've gotten used to this being a real shameful, bad thing when I make a change. So I actually had to reason that out and go, no, I can actually trust myself again. And sure enough, I got those 2 cans. Yep. I chewed those last 2 cans. That was October 26th of last year. I haven't touched it since. And it worked. And it was
and then you found some extra cans a couple weeks after that.
I did. I found 5 or 6 of them in my car that I forgot were there. And when I opened up the car, I saw them and because I wasn't driving at the time. And so it was like a few months later and I went out to drive again. I think it was a few months later. And I went out to drive again because I finally was able to move around. And those cans were in my car. And I got nervous when I saw them because I was like, oh no, I'm going to. And then I realized, no, I don't care. And I just threw them away. I didn't give a hoot. And so, yeah, it was just kind of interesting. But I found myself going through that again this week with fasting, mainly because a lot of people have been telling me that I've been over fasting and then I'm losing weight too quick and stuff, which I appreciate the feedback. And I'm trying not to make a mistake of thinking that I know everything because I certainly do not. So I'm trying to pay attention, but also the fact is that I know my body better than anybody else. And I know that I'm not feeling too bad at all right now. So I'm kind of keeping it going, but I did have to really think about it because the idea, long story short, what's happened is I usually eat for 7 days before I go on a 7-day fast. But because I'm going to Wyoming this weekend, I only ate for 3 days. And then I was going to only fast for 3 days, but my head almost wouldn't let me do it. I was like, I don't want to get used to quitting on these 7-day fasts. So I think I'm just going to carry it for 7 days. But then I had to have a talk with myself and go, well, unless something bad's happening, I don't need this to be me being stubborn and letting my head get in this. Yeah. So I just got to be honest. So I had to kind of go through that again because it was very much like when I decided to chew Copenhagen for 2 more cans. Trying to complete this fast, I had that same thing where I almost didn't trust my judgment, almost on the opposite side. Like maybe now I'm overshooting things because for not the right reason. So there's definitely a balance there. It's kind of interesting. But I don't know. That just got me thinking about it when you're talking about the fermented foods because I used to have those little guilt trips when I first brought in vinegar, even though my body was craving it. And then I had great results. And then when I brought in pickled jalapenos and sauerkraut or kimchi, I did once. And I didn't have any problems with it. And it made me feel better. So, yeah, I don't have any problems with those. It's really an unequal one thing all the time. I better catch up on chat. I got mouthy. Todd, you're helping
Yeah.
a lot of people. I certainly appreciate you and all of this information. Man, we appreciate you guys showing up. Like, this doesn't get anywhere without you guys coming every time and getting in the algorithm, making these comments. This is what gets these videos views. If you guys, liking the videos, sharing the videos, sending the links out to people, subscribing, this is the only way this stuff gets. I can sit here and talk to this brick, this wood wall all day long. But if you guys don't show up, this goes nowhere. So I appreciate you all so very much. Hit the like button. See, you read my mind. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. John, Big Man, Alaska. Haven't used my inhaler or CPAP machine for months. I also wasn't a believer in the carnivore success stories till I tried screwed up and got healthy as a result. Exactly. You're gonna myth bust it, and then you went ahead and became a convert.
I can't get over how much John's changed in the time that I first started watching him to where he's at today.
Incredible.
There's a big change. Yeah. So it's when you see changes like that just motivates you more because you see other people doing it.
Exactly.
You know it's possible.
100%. Todd, have you considered varying fasting to keep your body from getting used to 7 on, 7 off? I do. I got to do.
This week he's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this
3
week
days.
I did 3 days, but no, I know exactly what you're saying. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is I think I want to, I don't know. I think I want to put in a 14-day fast here and do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off is the next thing. But I might work up to it. I haven't decided. And then I do want by the end of the year, I want to try to do a 40-day fast. It has nothing to do with carnivore or losing weight. I've just always, for spiritual reasons, wanted to try one of those and actually get it under my belt. And so I'm going to try to finish the year, and then I'm planning on doing the 3 months priming calendar again during the winter, because I'm going to be lifting hard during the winter, and I know that I'm going to need a refeed here. So. And Dr. Phil in SBG likes to go through the calendars, the feasting and the fasting ones as well. And so anyhow, I'm planning on, right now I'm doing it for the seasons, because fasting is easier and more effective for me in the summer, and I feel better. It's harder for me in the winter. So I'm kind of getting the most bang for my buck right now. And as long as, like I lost 4 pounds yesterday on this fast, which is crazy. And I'm already at the bottom of my water level. And so I was really burning off some stuff. And obviously I don't speak about it a lot, but I am working out fairly rigorously now, not because I have to, but because I get to. And so I'm making the most out of it while the summer's here, because I don't know what to expect for the winter. I've never been a good faster in the winter. It's
tougher. Yeah.
It's for sure tougher. So, but yeah, so I am planning on putting a 14-day in there and then going to a 40-day, and then probably coming back to some 7s, and then probably shutting her down first of the year, end of December or something. It's kind of the plan. But I do know I need to keep my body guessing for sure. Diamine oxidase is an enzyme that helps break down excess histamine in your body. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Michael, that's so true about Lindy. She is amazing. 100%. 110%. I honestly feel like I've been healing from the inside out on this journey, right? Mm-hmm. Starting with the hormones and the brain chemistry.
Yeah. Brain's most important.
Yeah. And gut. Yep. Money I was spending in supplements and medicines pays for the meat 10 times over. Yeah, 100%. 100% it does. Tim, being healthy is much less expensive than being sick. Regardless, good health is priceless. 100%. I know. And so, that's just, people don't see it and they believe it, but it's just another lie to keep eating the junk, it really is. NSV, I just popped out to collect my mail, and a clothing package was there. Tried everything on and it fits. That's awesome, Car. That is awesome.
Yep.
That feels good, huh?
That's the best feeling there is.
Yep. I still need my BiPAP to sleep. Looking forward to jumping over that hurdle. Absolutely. And, I kept it because just the rhythm of it, the ritual and the rhythm of using it put me to sleep. But I just so wanted to get off of that thing that it was fun to put it away. And it only took me a few days to get used to it. But that's awesome. You'll get there, Tim, for sure. I think when you are fat adapted, then you really feel carbohydrate. I think when you are fat adapted, then you
really feel like if you have a carb.
Oh yeah, for sure. That'll make you sick. It just happened to my sister. My sister fell off the wagon for a day because they something and they brought a cheesecake over, and it was so funny to listen to because she was 100% good for like 8 months on carnivore, and lost like 71 pounds or something. She looks great, losing weight every day. But she has this slip up and she kind of was worried about it. But she goes, I talked to her like the next day and she goes, no, I'm not worried about it. That thing made me so sick and it didn't even taste like, I didn't get the endorphin.
You used to, right?
It didn't taste like what it used to taste like. And it made us all ill. And she goes, so no, we were running back to carnivore because it made us so sick. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of the beauty of it, Thanks, guys. Super stoked. I am conducting a show in 3 weeks and want to look better. That's awesome. Well, I hope you look fantastic. And even more so, I hope you
new clothes.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's awesome. I spent my entire adult life trying to figure out my own body to no avail, and I figured out more specific details in 2 months on carnivore. Absolutely, you have. It's because when we're on standard American diet and we're drugged up, both on prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, and food, we're just a giant dumpster fire. There's no way that you can link cause and effect because there's just too much stuff. I mean, when you're taking down food that has 25 different chemicals and ingredients in it, how are you supposed to know what's making you feel like what? Like this is why for forever everybody's like, oh, that supplement's great or this supplement's great or blah, blah, blah. And I would take them. I never felt like anything did a dang thing at all ever for me ever, And, when you're eating carnivore, like even on a busy day, maybe I'll have 5 different food ingredients in me. Maybe I'll have sparkling water and salt and, meat and, beef and bacon and eggs or something. But that's about as far as it goes, right? When you could eat one processed slice of cheese and it could have 30 different ingredients in it and 30 things that are making you sick or 30 things that your body's having a response to, how the heck could any of us get our
bearings? No idea. Right.
Yeah. Like it's just not a thing, and then when you finally clean up your diet and you clean up your hormones and your gut microbiome and your body's like, oh, I'm not getting
it can breathe. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you can add one thing back and go, oh, you know what? I haven't had scratchy, runny nose and eyes and throat for a long time. I don't think I should eat that anymore. And I just put it on the not ever damn again list as soon as it does that.
Toss it out.
Yeah, I'm like, that's gone. Sweet, made it home. Stay up and howdy, beautiful people. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Josephine. Appreciate you. Sleep is so important to healing. Cleaning up my circadian rhythm has allowed me to sleep through the night between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. We have a surge of melatonin, serotonin, and human growth hormones. Absolutely. That is so important. As one thing I always struggled with too, and I'm finally getting that wrapped up too. So very, very, very true, Tim. Classic.
Very important.
100%. Those are classics. Those are on the the 10 Commandments of Excuses tablet for sure. You have vote also. Harris is for bringing meat and climate change. Yep. She said in an interview. Oh, for sure. She's a puppet. She's a puppet. I saw a funny thing on Facebook. It was a picture of Harris, and this guy said, If you want to be famous, you have to first succeed. And she, and Harris says, "Where do I find Mr. Seed?" I'll let you guys work that out. But I like that. Where do I find this Mr. Seed? Exactly, Tim. Flawed and broken starts at birth. Exactly.
Yep. We all are.
Also, grounding has given me a deeper sleep for sure. The grounding thing has been big for me for a long time. Let's see. Did I catch up? Where am I at?
Almost. A few more down.
Walking down.
Go to starred.
There you go. Pray for me, people. I am trying lamb steak for the first time right now. Oh, lamb is
good.
Lamb is so
Lamb
good.
is really good.
I love those little lollipop lamb chops. Gosh, I could eat 25 of those things. Those are so good. I fell off the lion diet at church today and had cheese and salami at our potluck fellowship. The processed meat and cheese bloated me. Yeah, for sure. Some of that stuff really gets you. But, I mean, what a shortfall, right? Like, who cares? Like, that's perfect. You know, no damage done. Real damage, just right back on it.
Right.
Even when I stopped the chemical foods, I still couldn't figure out stuff because I wasn't even considering whole foods like veggies. Yeah, right. Like veggies and fruit. I mean, that's what carnivore is really just an animal-based elimination diet to get you down to the absolute bare bones, right, and then start working up from there and seeing your N equals 1 for you, what that is.
Right. And it's different for everybody.
Exactly. No, you didn't say that. I forget what that might be about. No, I didn't say that. I must have said something controversial, and I don't remember. Oh, the Harris, I think the Kamala Harris thing. Yes, that was funny. I thought it was hilarious. It is good.
Her lamb, yeah. The lamb is really good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think lamb's delicious. Bedtime for me on the East Coast, New Hampshire. Thank you for the live stream and the correspondence in the chat. God bless you too, Tim. We'll see you. We'll see you in the SPG and see you next week. Thanks, Tim. Yep. Yeah, we're still jabbering away.
It's Todd. Once Todd starts talking, can't shut him up.
I told you, I
can mute him, but you know, he knows how to unmute himself now.
Yeah, I learned. I like a big boy. It's the fasting energy. It goes crazy, and we're only going for another 8 minutes or 7 minutes, and then we're out of here because we had our real show last night. There we go. I think we caught up. But yeah, this was just a placeholder because Lindy couldn't make it tonight, so we had our 700 plus yesterday. Shows.
Didn't even tell me about it.
Well, I tried to tell you about it, and I did put it in the chat, but only 10 minutes before it happened because, yeah. All right. I'll take blame. Oh, me either. I can't stand her at all. That's crazy. All right. I'll tell you another one. I saw a funny meme that said that Kamala Harris is trying to lose her love handles, and she's going to look really funny without her ears. I love that one too. When you're as passionate as Todd, you can't shut up about it. Exactly. I mean, we're fighting, you know, we're fighting. We're at war. I consider these
fighting for our lives, huh?
Yeah, battles and fighting for, like, my life is fine now, and I can't believe it, but we're fighting for other people, you know? We're fighting for the people that they're keeping hooked. You know, I just think about it, and it's like, you know, 3 friends that committed suicide in the last 2 years. You know, Dad and Ty passing away. Mom having all this crap. For sure. For sure. DC's like, you should have muted me a long time ago. You've done, what do you call those? The DDoS whatever attack. You should have bombed this stream, Michael. But no, it's just, we are at war. And the more messages that I get from people every day saying, man, I can't go another day feeling like this. I can't go another day finding a reason to wake up tomorrow. And all of these come in when
you get to a point where you don't want to do it no more, man.
No, and we know this is a war. We're being attacked, we're being harmed, people are being hurt, and they're covering it up. So like, we are at war. This is a fight we're in right now. And this is what we're doing. We make light of it like we should, because it is a joke. What the medical system has become, what the drug system has become, is absolutely a joke. But we got to just keep saying it, and we got to keep being the example and the proof. Talk for hours, but not tell Michael what's going on. That's a good one. Listen, I did try to call him in the morning. He didn't answer his phone. I thought Lindy was going to tell him that she had to change it, and she didn't. And then I got busy at work, and then I realized that morning that nobody told Michael, and I called him, and Michael screens my calls all the time.
No, I don't screen my calls. I keep my phone. My phone's on mute 24 hours a day, man.
I know he doesn't. Michael, like, I'm telling you, Russia could launch nukes, and I couldn't get a hold of Michael.
I'd be notified.
You would know. I know you would know. you would know, but yeah, it's fair. We are fighting for our lives. We are in the war most people don't know we're in. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
We are.
And most people deny it.
They do deny it. And, why do they deny it? Because it's really hard. It's a big pill for these people to swallow, because if they swallow it, they have to understand they're being attacked, understand that there's no such thing as security, understand there's
everything's a lie.
Yeah, everything's a lie, and they have to quit their drugs and their addictions. It's pretty crazy. It's the Matrix. When Cypherus said you want to go back in the Matrix because ignorance is bliss,
Mm-hmm.
It's the Matrix.
Some people don't want to let go.
Yeah, so we got to figure out next Sunday. I'm going to be in Wyoming at some point on Sunday. I'm going to be driving back from Wyoming Sunday night. But I'm going to definitely try to do it, I think, Sunday at some point. We're going to do something. It might even just be me talking in the truck on my phone or something. But I'm going to try to get something out Sunday for sure. And I'm also going to try to have, for anybody that doesn't know, we're going to be doing a carnivore meetup on, like, Dr. Chafee's going to be there. Dr. Kiltz is going to be there. Bella's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Real Life Carnivore is going to be there. Heal by Meat's going to be there. Raymond Nazow, or Coach Raymond's going to be there. And I know there's some more carnivore influencers that are going to be there. So we are going to try to get some content out from Wyoming when we're there. I say that, well, it's not like I've done a lot of these. I did one in Texas, and then I got so busy because I had underestimated my schedule that I didn't do any, not a single live stream. So this time I'm going to try to make up for that and actually get my butt in gear and get something done. So, but with that in mind, the short answer is I'm not sure what's happening Sunday yet, but I'm going to try to get something up for Sunday.
We play it by ear.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. We never really have a plan. We just come on here and
speak the truth, man.
Pontificate. Do either of you experience mental clarity on carnivore diet? If so, how many days, weeks does it take? Me, about 3 weeks, I started feeling it more. And then 5.5 weeks was when it came to be really, really noticeable. And then, but 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks, the depression and anxiety was gone. And then that started the mental clarity. And now, it's just, it gets better every day. The mental clarity really does.
For me, the first five 5.5 weeks were the toughest for me. Getting through, like I had like keto flu, cleaning out my system from all the shit I've been eating all these years.
Well, there you go.
Once that happened, yep. I'm doing better. I finished a fast last week. I went for about 11 and a half, 12 days, and I got some swallowing back again. I'm gonna eat for a bit, and then I plan on going back on a fast. I feel my best when I'm fasting.
100%. I get conventional meat, and I pretty much only get Costco meat is what I get. And we do get, I've had grass fed. I've gotten grass fed half cows and stuff. They didn't taste great. They didn't age them long enough. Tasted pretty gamey, pretty funky. And
For
the
me,
way I was going to say, just the way that I look at it is, I think cows are our filter. I think that they can withstand a lot. I'm sure that there's a bit better that they can be off grass fed, but I think you can't do everything perfect. And so I don't really worry about the grass fed. If it comes to me, it's available and I like it, but I'd rather, if I'm not going to eat it because it really was the one that I got was really tough and tasted bad, I didn't want to eat it. So I would rather eat the beef that I do want to eat than not eat the beef that I should be eating. I don't know if that makes sense. I like a more sustainable. How about you, Michael?
For me, Greg, it's the same brand as your Icon. That's what I eat. I get it at Aldi, $3.99 a pound. It's grass-fed, organic, and I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great.
That's awesome. That is awesome. It's almost embarrassing how I swallowed the cholesterol myth. I even asked for 6 months to get it under control myself. I went up and was super healthy. Why couldn't I see the BS, right? Right? I know. The great philosopher Ice-T once said, don't trust the guys that sell the bullets and the Band-Aids, right? Because if they're selling both, there's a problem. Wow.
They're selling the cause and then the cure. That's the worst thing you can do.
Well, and they're not actually selling the cure. They're selling the illusion of the cure.
Right.
Which is even worse because that means they're renting it to you,
Right.
Pretty gross. Pretty sick.
They don't cure nothing anymore.
No.
Only thing these doctors and all this stuff does, they fix a broken leg, broken arm. That's the only thing they cure.
That's fact. Well, man, we're only going 2 hours tonight because we did 3 hours last night, a little over, I think. And we just wanted to say hi to you guys. The cholesterol myth has been shoved down the throats by experts forever. I know, and people will fight for it still. It's just like the information's out there. Ice-T has a band called Body Count with an album called Carnivore. Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that either. I'll have to check that out. That's interesting. I forget where I was.
Cholesterol myth.
Yeah, Ansel Keys. I mean, that guy's burning in hell somewhere right now, right? What a shit. And, how ridiculous it is, but it was to push the agricultural revolution, and it was when food turned into a product, right? It stopped being nutrients and started being a commodity to be sold and traded, and that's all that really happened. And then everything else was just a dance to make money, gain control, keep people addicted, to not try to
lower the cholesterol levels down from 300 down to 200. They were selling the pills.
For sure. Thank you so much, Mary. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much, Kendi. We appreciate you guys. We love y'all. We'll see you next week.
Take care, guys. Have a great week.